welcome to another episode right after we have had a deep dive understanding about the doula way of supporting birth, moving into the next topic about neuroscience and nurture science of baby wearing. So we have this two wonderful guests here. Nikita, of course, who continues to be in our guest panel here today. Rashmi Gajra, architect turned entrepreneur, mother of two, and founder of Anmol Baby Carrier, India's first certified ergonomic baby wearing brand. Her journey began when her premature baby led her to discover the power of baby wearing, from creating her first wrap to building a globally recognized, award-winning brand. Rashmi has empowered thousands of parents, especially mothers, through workshops and community building. She continues to champion the mindful parenting, believing that baby wearing nurtures security, connection, and families for future leaders and confident leaders. So welcome with me in conversation with Nikita and Rashmi about neuroscience and nurture science of baby wearing. Yet another wonderful episode. Yeah. So this takes me back close to about 17 and a half years now. Close to 18 years, I would say. Right? When my baby was born, she was premature. And we did not have our close family with us at that point. And it was just me and my husband. And very often I would feel like I would have to do cooking in installments. I would go run to the kitchen, switch it off, come back, feed my baby, run back again, switch it on again. So this is how I was doing. So this is something that comes back to me again and again. And I remember somewhere in the internet I was looking through and I found some women actually wearing their baby. And for me, that was the first time I heard the word baby wearing, right? It was not used as that. We have seen people as women outside on the road who don't have much of support and they would just carry their babies on a dupatta or a sari just tied up against themselves. But that's about what I had seen in our culture, right? But I have never heard a word called baby wearing. But I found this design that intrigued me. And I took that design, took a print out of it, went to my closest alteration tailor who would just do alterations of your salwars, things like that, right? I said, I want this to be made. And so he said, kapda leke aao, you bring it, I'll do it for you. So I was thinking, what kind of cloth will I use? I had a piece of curtain at home, which I used, and I took it and actually made one with her. And then I remember having gone for the first time trip outside India. That was in Switzerland when she was barely eight months old. And till such time, she had never left my body to even sleep on the bed. She had never done it. I would literally have to carry her, right? And there we actually invested on getting a pram and took it because we are going to be traveling and we won't be able to carry her at the hand all the time. But she never used it, right? And I carried this sling along with me and I didn't know how to tie it. And so all I did was I would ask my husband, can you just tie me like along with that? So I would carry her and then he would wrap it around me and just make a knot at the back because I didn't know how to wear it. So that was my experience of baby wearing. So now I want to hear from you, what has been your journey? Because I remember you talking about saying you did not know how to tie as well.
True.
Yeah.
So,
This was how many years ago?
So I'll tell you exactly 21 years ago, around this time, I was pregnant with my first baby and I was told that my baby wouldn't survive because he was an IUGR baby. And I did everything that I could to reach out to people who would show me some way to help my baby thrive. And that time, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram. There were these Yahoo groups. So I had reached out to, I think, 20, 30 Yahoo groups and pediatricians from different parts of the world. And you name it, and I just went all out. But there was just one group who responded to me. And it was a breastfeeding research and support group called Lal HA League. And they got in touch with me and they said, listen, you're going to have a preterm baby if you are having an IUGR baby. Surely that's what the case was. And they said, whatever you do, the best thing you can do for your baby is breastfeed the baby. And they got me in touch with this wonderful leader of La Leche League. She happened to be in Mumbai. And she sent me the handbook. That handbook I read cover to cover. And that came to me when my baby was born. And so I was very certain that even though my baby is born at 32 weeks, 1 kilo, उसके मुंह में सिर्फ breast milk जाएगा मेरा. So with that determination, he was a completely breastfed baby. But that book was so enlightening. It said that preemie babies are known to thrive better when they are in a baby carrier, a wrap or a sling on mama's chest, and they thrive much better than being in a NICU. So, with the support of my amazing pediatrician, neonatologist, I would give my baby a lot of skin to skin, and I tried to find any baby carrier. Didn't work. La Leche League again came to the rescue when Avril showed me how to use a wrap. This was a few years down the line, but I'd done so much research on the benefits of baby wearing and using baby carriers and comfortable ones that by the time my second baby was born, I'd made my own baby carrier. Right? So without support, I wouldn't know either. So I did receive ring slings, but I didn't know how to use it. But because I had seen Avril show me how to use the wrap, I was super confident I could do it.
Right.
And when I used it, I thought it was the best thing ever because I had a high needs firstborn plus this second one that I just needed him to be quiet and calm because I'd read that baby born babies are super calm and he was. He was like stuck to me. He was called Mama Rashmi's chewing gum.
Stuck to the mother. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and very calm and very connected and cozy. And I remember going to the La Leche meetings and other breastfeeding support groups. And out there, a lot of mamas saw us together, and they were like, "Humko bhi bana ke de do." So this is about 16 years ago that I was wearing my baby and helping other mamas also learn how to use the wrap, and it really worked wonderfully for everyone who tried
Learned
it.
how to do it. Yeah.
So that's how baby wearing came into my life.
Yeah, life.
Support ke bina to ho hi nahi sakta, and that amazing group of women, that community of breastfeeding women and the leaders.
Yeah.
And I think I may have met you there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's when it was actually quite early.
Yeah.
And that's when Avril herself was like, she said, looks like you really would enjoy supporting mothers, and I think you should become an accredited leader. And she was the one who inspired me to do that. And she was a German woman, but such heart, I tell you. Because when I reached out to her and I said, I'm not able to feed my baby's completely refusing and she's premature, she's less than 2 kilos, so I'm quite concerned about it. She kept going. She kept giving me messages. She sent me resources. She sent me articles and emails, constantly giving me the kind of motivation to kind of keep going with it. While I didn't get the real clinical answers to why that was happening, there was enough support that she provided that let me just go through that situation and never giving up. I think I totally get that, Rashmi, when you say that women, and when they come together, there is some deep wisdom power that they get while supporting each other that is irreplaceable. Tell me, Nikita, as a mother, I hear that you also used a baby wearing, right? But tell me, as a modern woman, what really was the transformational power of baby wearing for you?
Before I actually answer your question, I want to talk about my story. My son was also IUGR, the first one,
all right.
born at 2 kgs. And the way I got introduced to Anmol baby carriers is that my doula at that time was approached by someone who was writing an article for a magazine, and she wanted a mother to wrap the baby, use the Anmol wrap, and they wanted to take pictures, and that's when I first got introduced to a baby wrap. And I used it because my son was very small. He was really tiny. Um, and I kept him close to me, and the wrap really changed our lives. And later, when I did get a ring sling, which my husband absolutely questioned, like, what is it that you're buying, and how is that going to make any difference? From there to him carrying our son throughout all holidays using a carrier, so life has like kind of come full circle here.
Yeah.
Okay, and for us, me to concern, like when you ask that for as a modern woman, how did the carrier change my life? It absolutely made me feel the liberation of it. For first, I was my hands were free,
Right.
my mind was free because I knew my baby was safely stuck to me. Second, I was so grateful that this freedom was not coming at the cost of losing connection with my son.
Correct.
Right? So there was connection and better connection happening along with the freedom that I was experiencing. Right? So I think baby carriers can
Quite a
transform
game
lives.
changer.
It can transform lives. It can transform the lives not just of the mother but also for the babies. Because it is now understood that the first 3 months of the baby's life, when they're really just transitioning from the womb world to the room world,
Yeah.
they need the first 3 months to be with the mother.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Listening to her heart, feeling the warmth.
Which is all familiar voices and sounds for them. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the baby carrier does all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
much ease.
So is this so Rashmi, tell me, since you've been kind of supporting mothers by providing them with different ways of how they can actually baby wear, take me through the different cultures and a little bit of history behind to say, is this something new only that we see in this modern life, or is this already been there earlier? Because babies have always been born. I would assume. So how was that earlier?
So this is not anything new, Yasmin. It's just been around right from the hunters gatherers, where baby wearing was an absolute necessity to keep the baby close and safe. If the cave people left baby behind, would be eaten up by a wild animal, right? So the baby was close and safety, and allowing them to really do as required for survival, which was hunting and gathering food. The mother could literally just wear the baby in all kinds of contraptions to keep the baby close and safe, and of course continue with her work. Now in India also, it's been a constant. Like, there are so many tribes even today that are using hand woven wraps. In fact, I get these pings or messages from women who weave their own wraps, and then they say, Rashmi, we love the Anmol wrap so much. It's so much softer and nicer than the wraps we are used to, and things like that. So it's really heartening to know that it is a practice where the community itself is wearing babies, right? And they can go about doing their own thing. In fact, I hear from a lot of mamas that our grandmothers were wearing their babies in saris or dupattas for short periods of baby's birth and things like that. So it's not anything new. There have been other gadgets and the modern world that's come about, but baby wearing helps us get back into the roots of intuitive connected parenting, which is so with a lot of things that are forgotten traditionally, and now we're rediscovering them, thankfully. So the surge of this whole practice of wearing baby carriers is back.
Yeah.
It's not something that has ever not been around.
Not been
right?
around, yeah. And I think there's this beautiful book, I forget the name of it, I think it's by Norma. The book is called The Continuum, which talks about how the first 3 years of life is in arms carry phase for a child. And that's so true. If you look at Indian culture, we have a village of people around us, always in joint families, for example. Someone is always carrying the baby in their arms, right? So that means if we had multiple hands that would carry the baby, then possibly the need for having a contraption wouldn't have been there, which is probably how we survived for generations now, which is beyond the tribal things, right?
Yes.
So in the tribe, like you said, they had to move and migrate from wherever they could get food and resources. They had to move. So for them, having some sort of contraptions mattered. But I think as we become more stationed and started to farm and industrialize things, I think just being living in close communities allowed us to do the same carrying in a different way. Now that we are going into more isolated modern life where we don't have that kind of close families, we still have to come back to some sort of a contraption. And that's how you said, like modern woman, you had to do that. Tell me your experience about Nikita as a mother, that the liberation that you talk about, what is it that the woman is looking for internally for her to feel the sense of empowerment, and what is the conflict that she might be in when a baby is born to her, especially women who have been doing full-time jobs, for example, full on in work profiles, and they've been busy on par with men at jobs, and then they decide to either have a baby, and then they're taken in by surprise. And I cannot tell you how many women get surprised about the amount of care a baby requires after. And I think sometimes it's also shocking for them. And sometimes the family goes into a sort of grief to saying, I didn't expect it to be so intense. Right? So how does that speak to you as a modern woman?
I think nothing can prepare you for it.
Yeah.
Nothing can prepare you for it because, having to care for a small baby when you are the primary caregiver, it's a lot of hard work. I was very fortunate that I am in a family setup where I had the option to continue to work or leave, and I chose to leave.
Right.
Right.
But that may not be the case for a lot of other
women. No. Even though I was, before the baby came, I was very sure 6 months maternity leave and I'm going to be back at work. But for 6 years, I never went back to work, right? I only started to work as a doula when my son was, about 6 years old. So the truth is that for a lot of women, that is absolutely not an option.
Not an option.
But what I think a baby carrier can do in that case is that the time that the mother is spending with the baby, when she's with the child at home or outside, the child who has lost the time to connect with the mother through the day finds that ease to be able to come to her, and the duty of the mother never ends, even when she's coming back home from work. Right. There is more work waiting for her at home, right? So for her to be able to find that time to connect with her child while she's able to do the chores that have to be done, it's so much easier for her to do that, right?
Yeah. Right.
Plus also, with the lives that we are leading as busy lives, modern lives, living away from extended families,
right?
I think baby carrier is baby wearing is so important because it gives you it just not only helps you connect, but it also helps you do a lot of things that are also available to us as women now. Whether it's entertainment, whether it is leisure, whether it is medical care, whether it is breastfeeding.
Yeah.
I have breastfed my 18-month-old through a holiday in Europe in very cold countries, and we were doing city tours, walking tours in Berlin and all. All I did was just lower the carrier and just latch him, and I did all of it. So because our lives are very different from what our mothers were living, correct? I mean, when they were home, then they were home, but for us, even if we are home, we are really, there's so much more to do.
So much more to do. Correct.
So I think in that case, baby wearing it's just transforms a mother's life in that sense.
So these are practical aspects of it. I'm also trying to kind of bring a light to the internal aspect of being a mother. Because as an internal intuitive sense, like you were talking about just a while ago in the other podcast episode, you talked about the inner wisdom that the women carry. How does that kind of fit in with this approach that we have about the baby wearing, rather than the practical aspects of how it can facilitate?
I think especially all young mothers and new mothers, when when you hold the baby in your hands, and that's when you realize the strength and the how fragile this newborn is. The baby is strong, it's bringing everything out of you. But this being also needs a lot of care, and I think that is a very intuitive aspect where the mother just wants to hold the baby with her as much as she could possibly. And that's where a lot of family conflict also comes in, because family would say that you're always keeping the baby close to you, the baby will never want to be with someone else. That happened
bad
with me.
habit.
Keeping the baby with you would just get them to be in a bad habit of always being with someone. They will always need someone to be holding them. So there was a lot of conflict that I faced. And they, like she said, her son was called Rashmi Swingam. My family also just said that your son is always stuck to you all the time, that he doesn't come to anyone else. But I think that is what that child needs.
Correct.
And somehow you're saying that the mother knows that.
Mother knows that. And also I remember my mother used to keep telling me that make him independent. Make him independent. This is the term that she used. I said the independence will come when he's experienced this connection. It'll automatically flow. And I remember that my son, almost until the age of 4.5, used to sleep holding my hair in his hand. My hair was, of course, much longer. And he would hold my hair only through the night to sleep. And I always thought that, will this child ever leave this bed and, sleep separately? And when he was 6.5 years old, is when he himself said that I want to sleep in a different room. So I think that when there is so much connection given to the child early on, it fosters independence when they're ready for it.
Right, because all of their needs are being met there.
Yes.
And that kind of reminds me, Rashmi, about Dr. Neil Bergsman. He's from South Africa, and he's done some phenomenal work on baby carrying, kangaroo carrying, especially KMC. And he's the one who brought the understanding of not just the neuroscience, but also the nurture science. Right? And he talks about the brain, the center of your brain being the limbic system that requires regulation and co-regulation from a mother's contact.
Yes.
And because of lack of facilities, it being in a South African hospital, where facilities as having those warmers that you keep for a premature baby. I'm talking about extremely premature babies who are weighing only about 500 grams, who have no chance to survive. Now, he says that we didn't have the provision to be able to have those equipments which many other modern countries would have. So the only thing that we were left with is to think, how can we do the best that we can do in this situation? And he started putting the babies on the mums and then wrapping them up together with whatever he had at that point, and then said 24 hours this baby is going to be on you for the next so many months. And everything that the mother requires, we will do what is required to do to support her, which means he created the womb on the chest of the mother. And after that, the science that he got out of it was absolutely empowering for the whole world. People were amazed to see the outcome of that baby wearing turned out to be that those babies could not only thrive, not only survive, but also thrive.
True.
Right? And so he talks about that limbic system, and he talks about the nurture science about it, and how the neural system, the neural brain work that happens while contacting this part. So even if they have to do a photosynthesis by basically giving a phototherapy for a jaundiced baby, for example, they would never separate the mother and baby. And he continued to care for the baby and till the baby gains certain amount of weight, right? And which is exactly what you talked about. You said that your baby was just 1 kg at that point.
Correct.
At some point, and exactly what you did,
Yes,
right? And
absolutely.
your own outcome was what you saw there.
Yes, absolutely. And while
But are the mothers aware of this, Rashmi? While they
We
talk
are-
about facility, like we just talked about, she talked about how the practical aspects of freedom and movement and liberty, all of that
Mhm.
comes in it. But I want to go deeper into understanding about your baby being an IUGR baby who was 1 kilo at some point, and what it does actually do in terms of providing the baby the ability to regulate the important parameters of survival.
Yeah.
Do
So
mothers
I
know
think
about it?
I'm not sure how prevalent it is, though. I know that there are these baby friendly hospital initiatives being carried through the municipal hospitals in this country now. And there are certain hospitals, even private ones, which ensure that kangaroo mother care is happening as soon as babies being born and things like that. However, do all moms know about it? I am not sure, but because this is something that I talk about all the time,
Right.
kangaroo mother care and helping skin to skin with a baby carrier take place, because it's really essential. I've seen it with my own baby. He really didn't have any of the typical challenges that can happen to an IUGR baby. He did not need any kind of external support. Also because I was breastfeeding and continuously giving my baby the skin to skin that is required. Not only me, my husband was also doing that. So even though he was in NICU, I would take permission, bring him out. There was an adjoining room where I would give skin to skin. And I really felt a sense of extreme peace and calm when my baby was on my chest.
Because she's feeling desperate as a mother, that what can I do?
Oh my God, it was crazy. I used to feel helpless that my baby was away from me and in the NICU. It used to make me feel like so frustrated that I can't have my baby close to me. And that is a mother's instinct. Mums and babies are meant to be close and stuck to each other in that first, 40 days, right?
For sure.
First 6 weeks are so essential, because that's when even the mother's body transforms to support a baby. Where if the baby's on her, through the physical acts of even breathing, the baby's development of baby's, heartbeat and regulation of temperature, all of that starts happening, right? When the baby's on the mother and mother giving skin to skin, it really turns the way the baby can literally relax into mommy, because of the continuous support from her systems, stabilizing the baby's unstable systems, right? And this is not just for preterm babies, this is for any baby, right? And that physical aspect is also transforming, like you said, the limbic system and the neural pathways that are now getting generated in the most seamlessly easy ways. Why? Because the baby's calm, relaxed. There's no stress hormones like cortisol getting generated when he's away from the mama. And there's an oxytocin flow that's happening both in the mama and the baby. So there's bonding happening, and that fear and frustration and desperation is now being, transformed into this bonding that's happening. Yeah. And there's also this, that sense of calm then comes to the mama also. It is an animal instinct for the mom at that point, right? To have her baby close. And then there's this flow of breast milk, and the feeding opportunities go up when baby is born in a baby carrier, especially in the first few weeks, right? So they also say that because the baby has so many opportunities to be fed, the hind milk fat is something that the baby gets more of, and especially for preterm babies, that baby puts on weight faster also. And
Yeah.
so I was so keen to baby wear with my firstborn. I was like, this guy needs to put on weight. Like 1 kg, say, fatafat, I need him to get on with it, you know.
Yeah.
And as a person, I was a typical, you know, modern mama. I am an architect by profession. And for me, not being able to go to work meant like, what am I going to do with my life,
Yeah,
right?
it's almost
So
like
even
prison.
if I had a preterm baby, I was going back to work. But when I could wear my baby, the second one, this boy went with me everywhere, to site, while I was drafting, client meetings, you name it, and I was doing it. I was working with the baby on me. Thank God I had a lot of support in terms of, the nannies and this and that. But my baby was always stuck to me initially. And also, my husband really, really loved to travel.
So you
That
guys
was
still
traveling, like she said, without a baby carrier seemed impossible.
Yeah.
So,
Back-breaking job, I suppose so.
so that sense of me getting my own self back for a mom, that's super important,
Yeah,
right?
without the feeling of sense of guilt that I am going to be away from them.
Yeah, absolutely. So the guilt is, like she said, it gets erased when you're able to wear a baby in the morning and evening.
Yeah.
If you're going to work, you have to go to work, right?
Absolutely.
So that is, and also because that connection is getting reignited, no, in the morning and evening with that oxytocin flow. And that confidence also to be able to carry your baby, to be able to connect with your baby, to calm the baby down. If it's a soothing baby, you're helping them feel better. If a baby is sick, you're helping them feel better. Going through your growth spurts where baby wants to be held all the time, you're helping your baby. The clingy phase, it's frustrating, right? Whatever you may say, after a while, the mother is so tired, not enough sleep, no nutrition going, because she's like wondering how to calm this baby who's so hassled going through the growth spurt. Or, for example, there are moms who come to me with colicky babies with GERD, who just don't want to be put down, right?
Because of their
And
reflex.
that baby again is always on the chest. Suddenly now with a baby carrier, that mom feels super relaxed, because now her body is not getting tired continuously with her arms just being overextended to keep holding the baby, right? So it helps not just in the physical, but also in the mental, the emotional,
and physiological, like you said.
physiological, right?
The physiological.
Yeah,
aspect.
so also in a good baby carrier, the baby is worn in a way that the baby is held in the mother's or the parents' arms, right? So the baby feels very supported and secure. And that is creating a sense of, trust in the world outside. Yes, I am calm and relaxed and safe right now, and the world is a safe place. So that unspoken memory of needs being met, of the baby being seen and heard, and really
And simply, like you said, going out and actually being able to experience the world my mother is taking me through. I remember that, Rashmi, because at that point, like I mentioned to you, all I had to do was just carry my baby, and I couldn't stop what I was doing. So I was going to clinics, I was doing visits everywhere, and wherever, whatever meetings I was going to, everywhere I just carried her. So to an extent, a lot of people thought that they could never see me without the baby. So few years later, they would say, "Where is your baby?" I said, "Baby has to grow, na? She's going to grow. She's not going to be like stuck," because they never saw me without her. So, and that really speaks, right? Now, as a doula, Nikita, tell me how I know about a little bit about the rebozo, right? I know there's a piece of cloth that you use for that. Does this kind of convert into something that you use as well?
So, first thing is that when families and mothers are talking about packing their hospital bag,
Okay.
I ask them, is there a carrier inside or not?
Okay.
Because they all want to buy the breast pump,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
But they have no idea that,
This can help
this
them.
is also very important.
Mm.
In fact, this is very important, right? Breast pump may not even be needed.
Right.
The other thing, the way that we can use a baby carrier, especially like a ring sling or something, is to help the mother bind her belly, especially if she has like a pubic symphysis pain. So just to support her belly as well, a baby carrier like a sling
Wrap.
and a wrap can be used to support her growing belly. So we tell them that
during pregnancy.
during pregnancy
Yes.
also. Sometimes if the baby is in a breech presentation,
Okay.
then we do the rebozo,
Yeah.
help the baby come down, get
So
head
can you
down.
tell us a little more about that? So a lot of our audience may not even know what rebozo is and why is it needed.
So rebozo is a traditional Mexican midwifery practice.
Okay.
Some of the doulas were very fortunate to learn from Nayoli Vinavar, who is a Mexican midwife. She visited India and we learned from her. And what it involves is using this long piece of cotton fabric, which is like a long scarf, and use it in different ways and different maneuvers to change in a lot of times birth outcomes as well. Okay. So it is used both during pregnancy, during labor and birth, and even postpartum.
I see.
So during pregnancy, for example, if the baby's position is not optimal for birth, then using the rebozo, which involves wrapping the mother's body with it and then gently, rhythmically
Give movement to
shaking
it.
it.
Okay.
Movement to it.
Cool.
Now, this baby who is inside the bag of membranes and is floating in water feels this gentle movement and can turn. So, breech babies can go head down. Babies who are OP babies can become LOA, which is what we need for labors to be effective. Oblique babies can go straight. So, baby positioning can be worked on. If the mother has pain in her back, then just gently helping release the tension in her body, that can be done. So there are lots of benefits of using it during pregnancy, especially during labor. If the labor is slow or if the labor is not starting, then using the rebozo and shaking the bottom of the mother can help bring the baby down and can also stimulate and engage the baby and get the labor going as well. It can help with stalled labors.
Right.
If the labor has slowed down, baby is really high up, just shaking the body can bring the baby down. So rebozo is a beautiful practice that midwives in Mexico use, and it's something that some part of it I would say we have learned from the midwives. Now, baby carriers in pregnancy can of course help with the support of the belly. But if, for example, if the baby is head up and we use a rebozo and get the baby head down, so then we tell the mother tie a something around you, wrap your belly, and especially over the pubic bone, like fold and make a big knot and fold it inside. Tighten that space so that the baby then doesn't go up, head up again. Okay, so there's a big knot.
So it's a sort of suggestion to the body.
Yes.
Like she was talking about the overextension.
Yes, right. So all of that.
Just the alignment of the body. I think we underestimate the kind of body dynamics that we play with in terms of the chores that we have to do on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes we just dismiss it. And the tiredness, a lot of the body tiredness and fatigue comes from just that. Isn't it? So I think what I'm hearing is that baby wearing also not just supports so many other aspects of neurological development, as well as the nurture science of bonding and stabilizing the temperature of the baby, the heartbeat of the baby, and providing that basic parameters so that the nutrition that is being given from the mother's milk then becomes an uptake rather than making the baby survive. So that is the edge that we are getting here. Besides that, it's going way further in supporting the mother's entire body alignment as well.
Not just her alignment, we also think that when a mom is able to independently do the things that she used to before she became a mother, it really helps with her being able to reconnect with herself,
Right.
because she's familiar with the stuff she was doing before,
Earlier,
right?
yeah.
And that to her brings comfort in so many ways. You
Of
know
course,
that,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like, I know how to do these things, but I don't have to give up these things because I have a baby now. I can do both. I can take care of my baby and continue doing the things I was used to and I like to do while I'm using a baby carrier. And so she's able to parent confidently, just knowing that, yes, my baby's safe in this carrier.
Right.
There is nothing, my
So I'm in
baby's...
charge, right? I'm still
Yeah.
in charge of the whole thing.
Yes.
So I think that gives her a lot of sense of empowerment as well.
Yes,
So I hear that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and there's another aspect to this, like we have seen, like you would say, the women on the streets wearing their babies, or women in tribes who have been wearing babies forever in these wraps, as you would know it. But being, from a science background where you want to get some sort of validation, having carriers which have certified safety standards is something that women now want, and that is what you should go for.
Yeah.
And also the fabrics, right?
Mm.
Putting your baby into fabrics which are organic cotton, pure cotton, which makes complete sense in this country of ours, right? Because that's so natural and it's breathable, and there's nothing nasty entering your baby's skin, right? You want only your microbes to enter the baby's skin,
Yeah.
and not microplastics if you're using polyester, right? So those are the things that you want to look out for in terms of safety, in terms of ergonomics, when baby wearing is involved. You don't want to, pass nasty stuff to your baby through any of the rubbish that is there. You have to watch out for it. It is your duty, because it is going to feel really great when you wear a really nice baby carrier.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to end this with a little thought here to talk for both of you, to tell us. You can start with her and tell us the joys of it. Tell us the joys of it. What are those funny, happy moments that made you feel like, okay, this is something that I will always cherish in my life?
Some of the most beautiful memories I have from the first one was him in the carrier. There were times when he was inconsolable, and putting him in the carrier just did the trick.
Okay.
Some of the most beautiful holidays I've had were with him in the carrier. The fact that I could read his cues much better
Because baby was close to you.
was close to me, and more than anything else, I think I totally transformed the whole view that my family had on baby wearing.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Like
Such a
everyone.
stigma, isn't it?
Yeah, and I remember my husband thought that putting the baby in the carrier is going to widen the hips, and is going to impact his legs and all. I said, well, the baby's natural ergonomics is the M shape, right? So we had a like the whole family was converted, and I remember this friend of ours. They were also traveling for a holiday abroad, and they said the baby was small. And they asked, should we carry a pram or should we carry a carrier? I said, you won't need the pram, you will need the carrier. They carried both, and the pram was carrying the bags.
Correct.
Exactly my experience.
Yes.
So
Exactly
carrier
my
was carrying the
experience.
baby.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And all that, it was used for luggage.
Yes.
Yeah. All the baby stuff, everything else could be carried by that. And then the
All
baby
the
was closed with
shopping, the diaper
shopping
bag.
bags, everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So yes, you need a pram to carry all of that. For sure, you need both.
You need
So
both.
yeah. So especially when you're abroad, तो वो तो बहुत काम आती है.
Hmm.
In India, in the malls भी.
But not just the holidays outside, but the transition in the airport.
Yes.
Isn't it, Rashmi?
Yeah.
The amount of transition work that we need to do through the counters that we have to go through.
Correct.
So all of that is not easy. The immigration and things like that. You need your two hands to kind of take care of all of the other things happening there. Baby's constantly crying. Everyone's watching you. So I think it really is a game changer for sure.
Yeah, and also in the plane, like there are some who will allow it. So when you want to pace the aircraft while your baby is wanting soothing, that really feels so good, because you're confident that when you wear your baby and walk, your baby will be calm, right? So we've known that parents have loved wearing their babies while traveling on flight, transitioning, whichever ways. It's
Really creating a womb outside the womb, isn't it?
yes, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rashmi, for this
You're
wonderful
welcome.
conversation. It's
And yes,
always a
thank
joy.
you.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, it's
thank
just
you.
to hear a mum talk about her real lived experience really matters.
Yes.
And it's not you did it with both your children, I suppose,
So the
right?
second one was born during COVID, so
So didn't need it as
didn't
much.
need it as
Okay.
much, and when we tried to put him in the carrier, he didn't really take to it. He was
Huh.
much older.
Much older
But
by
my
then.
older one lived through it.
Lived through it. Yeah.
I would like to add this, so for like a lot of parents think that baby wearing is only for newborns. Yes, newborns for comfort and closeness, and when they're a little older, for exploring, helping them look at the world outside safely. When they start transitioning to walking, they want to explore the world, but coming back to the parent for that sense of security. But toddlers with their big feelings and going crazy with all the tantrums and the tears, immediately if they've been baby born, instantly those tears turn into giggles. We've seen that, I've seen it, and I've seen a lot of parents who talk about toddler wearing
Yeah.
in our community, and those toddlers then are absolutely curious, connected, and centered, and very confident as 10-year-olds that I meet now. I've known them since they were 2 months old, and 10-year-olds now. So it's not just baby wearing, even toddler wearing really helps those kids.
Yeah. Under 5, like I always say, till the time they are 5 years old, they got to be worn.
Yeah, and so parents ask me, अरे रश्मि 2 साल के बाद तो वो भागते हैं ना. I said, पर गोदी तो मांगते हैं ना. जब भी गोदी चाहिए तभी आप बेबी कैरियर में डालो.
True.
So that really helps the parent also, feel okay with the
Hustles,
toddler years, right?
True.
And more able to help the baby, the toddler, to transition